especially that we may not have any internet problems. In Jesus' name I've prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Nasuna, for that prayer. And I think with that, we are set to start our lesson today. Last week, you went through the paper that you did. And today, we want to start on another topic, which Mr. Semoge sent the notes over the weekend. And I guess everyone received those notes. If you have not yet printed them out, please print them out and copy those notes. They're there in our Google Classroom, so make sure you get to those notes and please do whatever is expected of you. So this is from the 10C. We are looking at the Canadian Prairies as our next topic. I'm sure we have streams that do German and those that do French. So in this case, would use mainly the people who are doing French. Why? Because of most of the words under this topic are actually in French. Reason being is that most of the provinces in Canada were actually taken over by the French. So under this topic, this is what is expected of us. At the end of the topic, we should be able to know all these things. First of all, we're going to do the introduction. Under the introduction, we'll have the terms or the definitions, mainly the definition of the prairies. We want to know where are they located. I know in 2020, those first month, actually 2019, I'm very sure that's when North America was introduced to you. You should have drawn a map of North America showing us the different provinces of Canada and then the different states of USA. I don't know if you remember drawing that map. Did we draw that map?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Someone is saying no. So if you didn't draw that map, I would ask you to draw it.
Location.
Yes. Yes, Sebo. Yes, Mr. Semoge. So we'll be looking at the location of the prairies. Wanji. Yes. Wanji Sebo.
Good morning, dear participants. Mrs. Seriange,
Mr.
Semoger has a problem. His connectivity, let me get to him.
Okay.
So that he gets a better place.
Mr. Seriange.
Before you can continue.
Mr. Seriange.
Wanji. Mr. Semoge, you need to look at your network. I hope the girls can get me very well. Is that so?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Okay. Your network is very okay. Teacher Flavia, before you can continue.
Mr. Seriange.
Mrs. Seriange, you have...
You people admitted me.
Oh, sorry.
That was the issue.
Let me get to Mr. Samogare.
Okay.
To let him know that we can hear him, but he's not connecting to us properly.
Okay.
Just stay in the position because you are breaking, eh?
I'm in one place, Mr. Semogere. So I was saying that under the Canadian prairies, we're supposed to
just change your position because you are breaking.
Semo, you're the one breaking. Mrs. Seriange is okay.
we must know the definition of the prelis. And here I would want to ask the streams, one of the people in those streams that are doing French, to actually give us that definition, the meaning of that word, because it's a French word. To us who have never done French, we don't know what it means. So people doing French, please get ready, okay? Then we want to know the location of this region. When you look at the word Canadian Prelis, we can actually know that this region is located in Canada because of the word, the Canadian Prelis. But we shall be seeing that it also extends to some states in USA. However, our interest would mainly be with that part that is in Canada. Then we shall also look at the drainage of this area. Do they have any rivers, any lakes? So we need to know, and therefore we shall be able to know where they're getting their water from. We shall look at the relief of this region. How is the relief? Do we have gentle slopes, flatlands, or plains, or it is actually a mountainous area? We need to know. Then we shall also look at the climate of this area, and then the vegetation. So after that introduction, all that would be in our introduction, would again look at the types of farming in the Canadian Prelis. What are some of the farming activities carried out in the different regions? And after looking at those types of farming, you'd agree that wheat farming is carried out on a large scale. And therefore, we shall be looking at, among all the types of farming, we shall single out wheat farming as our case study. And lastly, we shall look at the other economic activities that are carried out in the Canadian Prelis. Other activities like mining, industrialization, and others. We shall also have to discuss those activities. So that is what is expected of us under this topic. So the moment we are done with the 4, then we should have finished that topic of the Canadian Prelis. So we go to the definition. We want to start with our definition. And of course, we know where the word Canadian is coming from. It's coming from Canada, so that one we don't even have to define, but our interest is with that word Prelis. What is the meaning? Dagire, yes?
Prairies means meadows in French.
Okay, and what does meadows mean? Again, that's a French word, so we don't know. Simplify for us. People doing German, I hope you've heard. So we are not so sure what that one means. Teacher Juliet, please help me. Pick on the participants.
We have Javia. Javia Namuga.
A large open area of grassland. So meadows means a large open area of grassland.
Okay, thank you. So we're saying meadows means a large or an open area covered by grasslands. And Mukisa Faith, what are you saying? Mikisa. Mikisa Faith. We can't hear you.
I had wanted to give the definition of meadow.
Please go ahead and give us your definition.
Give the definition. It's the same as what was shared.
So what is the same? What did she say?
A large open area of grassland.
Okay, so we're saying a large open area covered by grasslands. Here, when we talk about grasslands, we are meaning actually an area covered by grass, mainly grass. There could be some trees, but you'd find that there are very few. It is mainly an area covered with, or an extensive land covered by grasslands.
Paula's
So the
hand
region,
is still up. Chala Serianga.
who?
Paula.
Yes, Paula.
She has disappeared.
Sorry,
Continue.
Miss. The question was answered that I wanted to answer.
Okay, thank you very much. So when we talk about the Canadian Prairies, we are saying this is an area that is covered by the temperate grasslands. We have to be specific. Which kind of grasslands are we talking about? Are we talking about the tropical grasslands, or we're talking about the temperate grasslands? Teacher Juliet, someone is giving us some kind of feedback. So again, I want to ask from the girls, why are we saying that this region is covered by the temperate grasslands? Why? Why not the tropical grasslands? Anyone who can tell us? Yes, Rebecca?
I think this region is covered by temperate grasslands because it receives temperate climate.
Okay, thank you very much. It receives a temperate type of climate, and it is also found in the temperate region. Okay, so this is why we are saying it is covered by the temperate grasslands. Have we seen that map before? People who said we drew this map in our S1 third term. This is a map of North America that is showing us, one, the different regions of North America, where we have Alaska, Canada, and then USA. So from there, we are seeing the different provinces of Canada. And then we're also seeing the states of USA. We are seeing the different states, and then we're seeing the different provinces. Who can remind us how many provinces cover up Canada? How many are they?
Amelia?
There are 5 provinces.
There are 5. Sure. Is that what they said in the introduction of North America?
No.
What did they say?
Sure, there are 3 provinces.
Uh-oh. There are 3 provinces. Are you looking at my cursor? When you count, you're counting only 3. All these ones.
We have territories, Teacher Flavia.
You're saying territories.
We have provinces and we have provinces. We have provinces rather and territories.
Mm-hmm.
So let the girls be guided that the region of Canada, the country of Canada, the states are categorized in form of territories and provinces. Yes.
So how many are they? Mr. Mangin, can you guide us?
In totality,
yes,
all provinces and territories.
Both of them.
Let the girls take us through because they have that now.
3
okay, someone is
before I give my submission.
Teacher Juliet, are you there?
Someone?
Zora? Zora, are you there?
Yes, there are 10 provinces.
Someone is saying that 10.
Provinces.
Any other person?
Ntongo?
I had the same answer. There are 10 provinces and 3 territories.
Thank you very much.
That is the answer.
And how many states do we have? Even if our interest is not with USA. Just to remind ourselves, how many states in USA?
Actually, the answer, Teacher Flavia, the answer is already on that slide.
They're not seeing it. Are they seeing it? Observant. Otherwise, I know there are some people who have not yet seen that one, okay? So that is very good. Going back to the Canadian Prairies, we are saying that we are looking at the provinces that cover the Canadian Prairies. Okay, how many of us had seen these notes before? Oh, but before we go to the provinces, we also did the climate. Was it the climate, Mr. Mangen, the physical divisions of North America? You must have done this in S1.
Yes, the introductory part of North America.
The part of North America. Faith, you want to remind us about the physical divisions?
Yes, the physical divisions of North America include the Western Cordillera, the Laurentian Shield, the Central Plain, and the Appalachian System.
Okay, thank you very much. So when it comes to the location, of our region that we're interested in, we are saying that it is located in the Central Plains of North America. And this is between the Canadian Shield and the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. So you will all know that the Rocky Mountains in these provinces of British Columbia, okay? So we are saying it is located between the Rocky Mountains or the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and then the Canada is somewhere here, okay? So when you look at this between British Columbia and Ontario, how many states do we have? Sorry, provinces. How many provinces do we have? And name these provinces.
Parent, we have 3 provinces, but Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba.
Okay, so we'll have those 3 provinces. And we're saying that when we talk about the Canadian Prairies, we are looking at those provinces, the 3 of them, in that order that we start with Alberta, Saskatchewan, and then Manitoba. Going back to our map, when you look at our map, please, I know they will ask us to draw the map showing the Canadian Prairies. Usually what people do, they usually want to eliminate British Columbia. They want to forget about British Columbia, and to them, Alberta is at the coast. Sometimes they would even draw for you this map, okay? They would draw for you this map, and they're saying, name the provinces, okay? And probably they've also put British Columbia there, and they're saying British Columbia is number 1, then number 2, number 3, number 4. And someone is going to say that this is Alberta. Please take note that Alberta is not at the coast. It is British Columbia first, then Alberta, Saskatchewan, and then Manitoba. However, when we're talking about the Canadian Prairies, we are mainly talking about these 3 minus British Columbia. But take note, even in the INE booklets, when you look at those different maps that they have drawn, sometimes they put British Columbia there, sometimes they don't put it there. But what we do, we forget that it is actually part of the provinces of Canada, okay? So we are saying that 1/5 of Canada's total land area is actually covered by, Mr. Mangen, is that right? 1/5 of the country's total land area is covered by the Canadian Prairies.
Very true.
We shall be looking at the map, okay, the specific map. Now this one is a general map, but we're going to look at the specific map. But we are saying that the Canadian Prairies, they actually extend, okay? They extend southwards and they get into USA, okay? When you look at that map, I don't know if it can clearly be shown, Mr. Mangen. Are we seeing it very well? So we have this map, which is showing us the different provinces that actually cover up the Canadian Prairies. When you look at this, I don't know if it is a triangular shape, okay? When you look at that shape, the shaded area, that is the area that is showing us the Canadian Prairies. The only part that is shaded is in Canada, but we are saying this region also extends to some 3 states in USA. However, like I said, our interest is with the Canadian Prairies. That is why, or where we're getting our title. When you look at that map, apart from the provinces, what else are you seeing? What is the map showing us?
Sora?
It's also showing major cities.
It is also showing us major cities. So what are the major cities in Alberta?
Faith?
The major cities in Alberta are Edmonton and Calgary.
Okay, so we have Edmonton and Calgary. Please note where the two are found, where they are located, okay? Today you have this map and it's showing us these major cities. Tomorrow I'm going to ask you to draw this. So I do not want you to interchange them. More so if that is covered by the Canadian Prairies. The first one, Edmonton, when you look at it, it's first of all, towards the north, and it is at the border, okay? Yet Calgary is inside and towards the southern areas. So make sure you put them in their right place if you are asked to draw this map. Which other towns for Sichuan? Which towns are you seeing?
Serena?
Regina and Saskatoon.
Okay, and lastly for Manitoba?
Cynthia?
Cynthia, we didn't hear anything.
Winnipeg.
Okay, so we also have Winnipeg, okay? So going back to this slide, the location of the Prairies, we are saying that it also extends to USA, and we're looking at North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana states. These are the states that actually share the Prairies. The major towns, we have looked at them. Now we move to the drainage. Drainage, here I would have asked you to have your atlases, but I don't know if they're somewhere near you where you'd open, but just in case your atlas is not near you and you can't get it, please make sure later in the day you get your atlas and look at a map of North America, most of the drainage map, and look out for these rivers. Cynthia, you are showing us your video. So on that note, can you read for us? Or do you do French? Cynthia?
No, I don't.
You don't, yeah? But it's okay, go ahead and
Alberta and Saskatchewan. Assiniboine, Souris and Red River, Manitoba. Athabasca and Peace River in Alberta.
Okay, so those are some of the rivers that we have in the Canadian Prairies and also in the different states. But we are saying when you look at rivers, North and South Saskatchewan, we are saying we'll have them in these two states. So someone might think, well, why are we having them in Alberta? But we're saying these ones extend or they originate from the Rocky Mountains. The North Sichuan River, we are saying it originates from the Rocky Mountains in the northern parts of the provinces. And it goes through Alberta and then to Sichuan. So that is why it has that name. The same thing, the southern ones also originate from the southern areas of the Rocky Mountains through Alberta to Sichuan, okay? So those are some of the rivers that we have in the Canadian Prairies. I'm not sure if the Peace River is there. You check through your notes, but please note that we also have the Peace River in Alberta. Okay. Mr. Mangen, do you want to take us through the relief? Mr. Mangen, are you there?
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm also having challenges with the network.
Now very clear.
It is clear. Okay. Now, relief. To describe relief, we first of all get the meaning of relief. And from our primary social studies lessons, we defined relief as the general physical appearance of the landscape. And a relief of the world is not uniform. You will not get an area that is generally flat. You will not get an area that is generally hilly. It is a mixture. You will get hills, you will get steep slopes, you will get gentle slopes, you'll get lowlands, you'll get valleys, and almost in the same area. There is no area that is uniform. And in the same way, even the Canadian prairie, it is a relief. It's not uniform. It has a relief that we call undulating, gently sloping. How I wish, Teacher Flavia, you went back to the slide where we have the provinces.
The map, yeah?
Yes, the previous. It is up. Slide, I think slide 7. Yes, that one. When you look at this illustration, we have British Columbia as the extreme in the west of Canada. It is a neighboring the Pacific Ocean.
Mr. Mangen?
Yes, sir.
Can I say the cross section?
Oh, that is so beautiful if you can share it.
Okay.
Teacher
Okay,
Flavia?
Mr. Riangi.
Mr. Mangen, you can go on as it comes.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Semogere, that
Yes.
spot where you have migrated to, every day, every lesson, be climbing to that point. You are very clear and stable. Now, girls, let us look at this. This is what we call a cross-section. A cross-section is the appearance of the land and its related features between 2 points. As you see the appearance of the land between 2 points. I want to give the example of Gaza. You are at the main gate. You are at the gate of Gaza, and you roll your eyes to down to the chapel. Those are the 2 points, and all the features that drive you come to the ring road, Then you will come to the sewing room, the metal library. As you slope down, the way you see that land of Gayaza is not generally flat. And so, but it is undulating. You don't say it is flat, because with flat, if you pour water on a flat surface, that water should stagnate. That water should not roll. You will a swampy area, a pond, a lake. That is where you will get water stagnating. And that water stagnates after running from somewhere. So this is the illustration showing the appearance of the land in Canada in the 3 provinces. We are in the west. You can follow the cursor. You realize that this cursor, the land in the west, where we have Rocky Mountains, that point is dark, is black, because it is showing a steep, look at even the nature of the shape of that curve. It is neighboring the Rocky Mountains. It is starting from the Rocky Mountains. Remember, the Rocky Mountains are in British Columbia. So as you move out, moving to the east, yes, we have 3, where we have the 3rd prairie level. Now, that one, it is a raised land. Then the 2nd level, land drops, is coming to be a low land. That is a gentle sloping. You realize that it is not the same. Melissa, you are either at Gayaza or at your home. Teacher Juliet, put Melissa in the waiting room.
I was trying to mute her, but I think I've failed.
Then that one is
cut to the waiting room.
You just say, let me, girls, just be patient. Yes.
No, I've removed her.
Thank you. But in the first place, is she a student here?
I think so. No one can access this.
Okay. Now, we get back to this. Where we have the 3rd prairie level, that the hill, the highland point is Alberta. Then the 2nd, where we have the 2nd prairie level, that is Sichuan. Then we have the 3rd, that is Manitoba. That means Manitoba is at a low altitude neighboring the Canadian Shield. Actually, the relief of the Canadian Shield starts from 300 meters. 300 meters above the sea level. This is the scale showing height of a place above sea level. On the left of that slide where we have the Rocky, we are having sea level, then meters, 500, 1,000, 1,500 to 2,000. And where the cursor is, where we have the Canadian Shield, the height of the Canadian prairie starts at 300 meters above sea level. Sea level starts from 0. That is the sea level. Now, the states are inland. They are inland. They are not neighboring the coast. From the map, you realize that we have Manitoba. Yes, we have Manitoba. Sichuan is the middle, and Alberta. In the west, we have a state known as British Columbia, where we have the cursor there. Then in the east, that is part of the Hudson Bay which connects to River St. Lawrence. So this part of the region which covers the fifth of the total land of Canada is within the inland. It is inside the country in the central part of Canada. So what happens, the land is not starting at sea level, 0 meters. No, because it is not neighboring Atlantic Ocean in the east, neither is it neighboring the Pacific Ocean in the west. So it is in the middle. That is why we are saying it starts from 300 meters above sea level and it shoots. You can see where the land goes, that top of 2000, that is part of the Rocky Mountains, meaning that the land is gently sloping, undulating. And what is the advantage of the land that is not hilly, but generally flat? We are saying generally flat, not flat. If it is, it means that it is not uniformly flat because it is starting from 300 meters above sea level. It goes on rising steadily, not sharply. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mangin. Before you go, someone from the chat room is asking Johanna. Oh, now she says she has understood, but her question was, probably someone else doesn't know, that why are we ignoring British Columbia and we're concentrating on these 3 other provinces?
British Columbia, we remember we must have covered British Columbia, lumbering, fishing. And one of them that we've not yet done. When you look at this part of the cross-section of the Canadian prairies, the other side is rocky. British Columbia is rocky. It is hilly, it is mountainous. It has rocks which discourage, which limit crop cultivation. And British Columbia, as one of the territories of Canada, has developed as a result of fishing and forestry, lumbering, while the inside provinces that have generally flat piece of land, that is Alberta, Sichuan, Manitoba, those ones have developed because of mainly crop cultivation. The land is easy for establishment, for construction, and for cultivation. It allows, if you pour the water where there is that arrow, you pour the water, that water would roll smoothly, slowly, up to by gravity, meaning this area has advantages. One, it is flat and extensive, meaning land is large for commercial cultivation. Secondly, it is gently sloping, meaning water can flow by gravity. 3, the gentleness allows easy mechanization. Thank you.
And of course, in addition to that, when you look at the map that was showing us the Canadian prairies, we are saying it is only, when you look at our diagram, the area that is covered by the prairies, it is only in those countries. It doesn't extend to British Columbia. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Semogere.
Mrs. Serianga?
Yes.
Mrs. Serianga, someone is asking from the chat, excuse me, teacher. There are some geography notes that were sent before online lessons that I wrote, but they are a little different from the ones on Google Classroom. Do I have to rely to the notes on the Google Classroom? I think maybe the notes about the Canadian prairies.
Where did they get the
that is very important. Where did they get the notes from? Because for us, these are our notes, the ones that are on the Google Classroom.
I don't know, maybe Jasmine should come out and explain. She's the one who sent the message.
Jasmine.
Dagire's hand.
Yes, teacher. They were sent on the WhatsApp group, but they are not in the order like they sent them in the Google Classroom.
WhatsApp group. Who sent?
Who sent on the WhatsApp group?
Now, we must note that
Mr. Magen.
During the lockdown, people would get notes from other platforms and then they share with you. Those notes must have the word geography department Gaza High School. If they didn't have that, probably one of the parents or someone picked them from another platform and shared, but it's okay. I know the content might be the same. Now for us, we're looking at our ranking. Yes, Mr. Mangan.
The girls should also know that we keep updating notes, even if they were Gayaza. We keep updating notes. That might have been an old version. So what you do, if they are for Gayaza, you keep inserting, keep writing what is missing in that if they are for Gayaza. Because for us, we give detailed work. Our notes are detailed compared to what you are going to get on social media. So if they are for Gayaza, and you are sure they are for Gayaza, keep just inserting in what is missing because we keep updating. Thank you.
Over to you, Mr.
Mangan.
Yes, Mr. Samogari.
Can you go through this, because I'm afraid where there is a lot of noise where I'm seated, because I'm on top of the house. So can you take them through the climate of the Canadian playlist?
Fine. Now, we are saying that for us to understand the development, this paper deals with the development. The study of man and his environment. And the environment is made up of two components, the physical environment and the human environment. Nature brings opportunities to man to exploit. And in the physical environment, we have climate as one of the components of the elements of the physical environment, under the component of the atmosphere. Now, why are we looking at the Canadian prairies in Canada in the first place? In the first place, you hear people saying, I studied, they taught us these things of Canada, St. Lawrence Seaway, but the things are not applicable and they are not helping us. Just because those people refuse to understand the application of these things. These are developed countries. Uganda, East Africa, and Africa as a whole, we are just struggling with the development. So we need to have role models. We need to have where to copy good lessons from. That is why we are looking at these regions. So don't be there. But why are we studying the geography of Canada? And development is determined by the environment. There is nothing that is bad provided by the environment. It is all about man's understanding, how you understand a given perception over something. So we are looking at development of the Canadian prairies as one of the regions in North America that has developed, and Uganda can copy from that region. But before we look at that development, we need to understand their climate. In Uganda, we have, and East Africa, we are blessed. We have sunshine throughout the year because at least we are like a cross by the equator. Canada. The location of Canada, for those who have who have the atlas, you realize that the location of Canada is in the northern hemisphere. Now, what does that mean? The climate is determined by the location of the area in relation to the equator. We are talking of extreme type of climate, not just extreme type of climate. The word extreme meaning it varies. I want to take you to the Earth rotation, the Earth revolution. One of the effects and the major effect of rotation of the Earth around the sun is causing day and night. As we are here, it is around 11. When you call someone in any of the states, of course, they have different time zones. Someone will be telling you that it is around 3 or 4. We are 7 hours ahead. Now, that is as a result of rotation. Then we have revolution. It causes climatic seasons. Winter, autumn, spring, and summer. That is why we are saying that the area Canada experiences extreme climate, but that is not a type of climate. The type of climate is what we call cool, temperate, interior, or continental type of climate. Why? The Canadian prairies experiences the 4 seasons, 4 climatic seasons, with some seasons being extremely cold, others extremely hot. And those variations, seasons are as a result of the rotation, the revolution of the Earth, with a combination of other factors influencing that climate because of the location of the region inside the continent, inside the country. Now we can look at the characteristics, having seen the seasons. 1, warm temperatures. During summer, that is when the sun is overhead, the Tropic of Cancer. Since it is in the northern hemisphere, may I get any of the girls to work as a sample to know whether they are following?
Ndagide?
Ndagire?
Yes, please.
Do you think you are following what I'm trying to explain?
Yes, teacher.
Thank you. Now, during the summer, in temperate region, this is again the senior one. We drew the earth and put the lines, latitudinal lines, the major being the equator. Then we had the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. That region between, Mr. Samogere, can you get to annotation and get a pencil or a line? He has connectivity issues, I think. So we have that line between the equator in the north and the Tropic of Cancer in the north. That region there, because Capricorn Cancer is at 23.5 degrees north of the equator. When you move away from the equator, temperatures reduce. The farther you go from the equator, north or south, the temperatures reduce. And when the temperatures reduce, it also means even the rains will reduce. The sun is the source of heat and is the source of water. Where the sun goes as a result of the revolution of the earth around the sun is where the heat, the sunshine, the heat and rainfall will migrate to what we call the intertropical convergence zone. Beautiful. Look at what he's doing. Now, the nearer the equator,
Let's finish that statement.
The nearer the equator, the hotter and heavier the amount of rainfall. The hotter the temperature, the heavier the rainfall. The farther the area away from the equator, the lower or the cooler the temperature. Now, when do they get the rains? Where he is writing, that is now a cold area because it is away from the equator. Those are from the temperate region. We go to the polar region, North Pole and South Pole. Now the Canada is in the temperate region, lying in the region along the Tropic of Cancer towards the polar region outside. Now, we are saying that during the summer, temperatures are warm. Remember, we have not said hot, around 15 degrees Celsius. Sunshine is abundant because of the presence of the sun at the Tropic of Cancer. When the sun is at the Tropic of Cancer, that is when it is summer, and that is when there is sunshine. And because of the sunshine, there is increase or rise in the temperature. As a result of the temperature, which is resulting from abundant sunshine, as a result of the appearance of the sun at the Tropic of Cancer, where Canada is located, there will be rainfall totaling to 508 millimeters annually. That is moderate in that area. This rainfall is unevenly distributed. The meaning of that statement is that the whole of Canada is not going to receive the same amount of rainfall. No. There are those areas that are near water bodies. There are those areas that are near water bodies as a result of the presence of the water bodies, for example, the Hudson Bay, for example, the Atlantic Ocean, for example, the Pacific Ocean. Those areas will receive rain due to evapotranspiration. We have talked of areas that have got the Rocky Mountains and the coastal ranges. These are barriers to prevailing winds. Therefore, those ones will receive what we call relief rainfall on the windward side. We are saying that the type of rainfall is known as cyclonic. Cyclonic rainfall is what we call frontal or depressional, where two air masses charged with different hydrogen ions. One is a hot, another one is a cold. They are meeting. I needed to illustrate anyway. Now, where the hot air mass, because it is hot, it is light. The cold air mass, because it is cold, it is heavy. So the cold air mass is going to lift the hot air mass, forcing it to go up. The higher it goes up, The cooler, once it reaches the condensation level, dew level in the atmosphere, the higher you go. Girls, we don't want. We are writing on this slide, Mr. Samogere, which could you choose? You are using kind of a watercolor, which fades. You choose a line. Choose a line, a straight line, which is near the text, and that line in between is what we call winter. We have been talking about summer. Winter, very cold. And when we talk of very cold, it means that temperatures are below 0 degrees Celsius. Very cold. That precipitation is in form of snow. That is why when you get water at home, you get that water, you put in the deep freezer, in the fridge, first of all in the fridge, it will cool. It will turn from being warm to being cool, and then cold and very cold. When you put it in the deep freezer, that water will change its state from liquid to a solid. Now, the very cold temperatures in January, -20, that makes precipitation. That is winter. Precipitation is a term that describes the different forms of water from the atmosphere. It can be in form of hail, it can be in form of raindrops, it can be in form of snow, it can be in form of sleet. Now, because of the very cold temperatures, precipitation, water from the atmosphere is in the form of snow. That is why you hear your relatives saying, we are in winter, it is very cold, and the dressing changes. When you are new in that area during winter, people will know more so if they have never told you how to dress during winter. So precipitation in summer, it is cyclonic rainfall, water droplets. In winter, because of the cold temperatures, it is snowfall. Winters are generally clear and bright. Clear and bright during the daytime. At night, the situation changes. And lastly, the last statement is the one which is having the 4 climatic seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And I have told you that that one is as a result of the revolution of the earth. One is wondering, but teacher, why don't we get winter in Uganda? Because we are located along the finished my explanation, and therefore you can get a table down there, Mr. Samogere.
Ndagire, okay.
No, teacher, I was just asking to clarify, is that -20?
In January, it is -20. In February, it is 18. In March, it is 19. When the sun moves closer, the temperatures start rising. When the sun moves away as a result of the revolution of the earth, when the earth moves away, what was I saying? When the sun moves away from the sun, a point, part of the earth moves away from the sun, then that one, it is entering into winter. When it moves nearer to the sun, it is entering into summer. Unfortunately, East Africa, Uganda, we are at the equator. We are not affected by the winter because of the double appearance of the sun at the equator in March and September, making the temperatures to be hot throughout the year. Are you still following? Thank you, Teacher Flavia.
Yes, thank you very much, Geography Department. I hope we're about to wrap up. We are 5 minutes into the
we are wrapping up actually. Our host. Girls, when you look at this table here, where you see the negatives from -6 November, -3, negative, the precipitation, that rain is snow. When the temperatures are in negatives, water exists in form of snow. When you have a soda and you put it, you put it in a deep freezer where the temperatures are very cold, it is going to change into a solid. What do you want me to explain? Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Mangin. To the girls, please, I know you're going to find these notes. When you go to your Google Classroom, you'll find them. Please look at that table. And I know in our S1, we're taught how to draw a climatic graph or a bar and line graph. Please go ahead and use that table and try to draw the bar and line graph.
Actually,
we shall start from there next time.
Teacher
Yes,
Flavia,
Mr. Mangin.
they can even, those who can take screenshots of this table, they can take it. If they can download the document, the same table is there. Let them draw a simple bar and line graph using this table, and they should also reflect. They should portray, that table should show the positive and negative, and the line should be running through. We want to see how they are doing. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for attending. Can we have someone to give us a closing prayer? We need to go and have a break. Someone to give us, yes, Camprida.
Let's humble ourselves and pray. Oh Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the lesson that you have had today. We thank you that you have understood and that you are going to put this into our minds. Lord, bless the teachers and all the IT department and everyone who takes part in teaching us. Oh Lord, bless them and bless us, Lord. Let us always remember what you have told us. This time I pray. Amen.
Amen. Just